bleeding. With any bleeding and major blood loss, your priority is to stop the blood coming out, which makes complete sense until you stick someone in the kitchen. And then the first thing they want to do is run under the tap and lose all your precious blood straight down the sink. So don't run it under the tap. It's never a priority to wash it. What you would do is grab whatever you've got and apply direct pressure to the wound, elevate it, and sit or lie the person down, because you want to treat any signs of shock. You don't want them to keel over. So sit or lie them down depending how severe it is. If it's a fairly minor cut and you lie them down with their legs in the air, they'll think you're a bit nutty. So it's about keeping it in perspective. So what you need to do, sit or lie them down and then examine the injury. So have a look. Is there something sticking out of it? If there is something sticking out of it, don't remove it. It's damaged going in, it'll damage going out, and it's also stemming the bleeding. So if you can grab something and apply pressure around it without taking it out, then that would be the best way to do it. Okay, so even if they're impaled, you would leave them where they are, and eventually they will arrive impaled in casualty for us to deal with. So you just want to stop the blood coming out. Losing blood can kill. So when you're talking about priorities of injuries, breathing is your most serious. Bleeding and burns also kill. Broken bones, not bothered. Okay? So you apply direct pressure like that. If there is bright red, frothy blood squirting out of a wound, then they have hit an artery. So if there's bright red, frothy blood, it's oxygenated blood under pressure. They're going to lose a lot of it very fast. You will get an awful lot of this, and you will apply direct pressure very fast, and you will need to lie them down and raise their legs because they will go into clinical shock very, very fast. And you would get something to keep them warm and get an ambulance on the way. And keep them calm, because that's the other thing with clinical shock, that when they get really anxious, it makes it worse for them. Okay, so with different sorts of bleeding, capillary blood just sort of oozes, arterial blood squirts, and venous blood drips or pours, and it's slightly deeper colour from veins. Yeah. So venous blood is going back to the heart. Arterial blood is coming under pressure from the heart. Okay. But arterial is your most serious. If there was something stuck in the wound, but it wasn't as spectacular as sort of bright red frothy blood squirting out or anywhere or whatever, but there is something in there, you still need to apply direct pressure to stop the blood coming out, but you ideally want to do it without pushing the embedded object in there any further. So if you spend 2 seconds making yourself a donut ring like that, you can then apply pressure around like that. You can then grab something else, apply pressure over the top and elevate. So then you can be stopping the bleeding without pushing the embedded object further in the wound. Is that okay? And if you can't do one of those, you just roll up a couple of those, put it either side. But you just do what you can to stop the bleeding. So, you sit or lie them down to manage clinical shock. You examine it to see if there is anything sticking out. You elevate it above the level of the heart to slow down the bleeding, and you apply direct pressure. No tourniquets, no indirect pressure points, just direct pressure over the wound, and wear gloves if you can.